Hi, I'm Karan Thapar. Over the last few years, I hope you've been watching my program, The Interview on the Wire. During that period, I've interviewed doctors, politicians, businessmen, scientists, authors, and even the occasional Nobel laureate. For me, it's been exciting. I hope it's been enjoyable for you. But these, as you know, are tough times, and if this program is going to remain bold, independent, and sometimes even defiant, then I think we need your support. At the end of the day, it's a truism, but editorial independence is best defended by the viewers. So if you would like this program to remain the way it is, forthright, outspoken, and interesting, then would you consider supporting us? All you have to do is to click on the description at the bottom. But more than anything else, I hope you will continue to watch the interview. Your viewership means an awful lot to me. Hello and welcome to a special interview for The Wire. 24 hours after the Supreme Court stayed Rahul Gandhi's sentence, we ask, is the opposition alliance India in danger of falling apart? And even if it survives its present troubles, how effectively can it take on Narendra Modi and the BJP in the 2024 national elections? Those are the two key issues I shall raise today with one of the most prominent members of the alliance, the Rajya Sabha leader of the Trinamool Congress, Derek O'Brien. Derek O'Brien, before I talk to you about that critical question, how effectively can India challenge Narendra Modi and the BJP in next year's elections, let me start by asking, is your alliance in danger of falling apart? After the bonhomie established in Bangalore, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary has taken to personally criticizing Mamata Banerjee, Sharad Pawar is hobnobbing with Narendra Modi, and now, as of yesterday, the Congress government in Karnataka and the Aam Aadmi Party government in Delhi are criticizing each other's mohalla clinics. This doesn't look like unity, this looks like discord.
No. Everything is not just good, it's very, very good. So these little issues which you've raised, they are just little drops. Mr. Thapar, in January 2023, if anybody had told you that everyone would be getting together, 25, 26 parties, would be getting together under an alliance with the Patna summit in summer, followed by the Bengaluru summit, followed by the Mumbai summit, which is coming up later this month or early next month.
31st of August.
So, if anybody had told you even this, cynics would have said, this is not possible. Believe me, a lot of progress has been made. Are there going to be bumps along the way? Of course. But I think once the leadership of these political parties, it has been decided, and I can tell you in the last 2 weeks in Parliament, the kind of bonding, it's beyond just an alliance for 2024.
You call these little issues, actually they're quite substantive. Let's start with the problems between the Trinamool Congress and the Congress party itself. This is a classic case of wanting to be friends in Delhi, but continuing to be opponents, if not enemies, in Bengal. How long can this continue before the relationship snaps?
Absolutely not.
So you're prepared to have Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary go around saying the people of the state have become disillusioned with Mamata Banerjee?
His
2
own
days
party,
after Bangalore, he said
his own party will discuss that with him. I don't need to say anything. We are gracious.
You're saying Congress will silence Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary?
That is what you are saying.
Then what do you mean his own party will sort it out?
I think. Let me put it to you this way. We are discussing individuals. The Congress party, Mr. Kharge is the president of the Congress party. At the Bengaluru summit, Mrs. Sonia Gandhi was sitting on Mr. Kharge's right. On Sonia Gandhi's right was Mamata Banerjee. On Mamata Banerjee's right was Rahul Gandhi. On his right was Mr. Stalin.
Absolutely.
So let's
Not
talk.
for a
Let's
moment
talk about the broad
No,
picture.
hang on a second. Not
You
for a
know,
moment
I'm
do I
not-
deny that they sat beside each other and smiled and shook hands and
No,
maybe
no,
even
no.
dined at the same table. But look what happened 3 days later on the 23rd. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary said, and I'm
You
quoting
see,
him,
if you-
the people of the state have become disillusioned with Mamata Banerjee. The Trinamool now desperately needs the Congress. The TMC has realized you cannot join politics without Rahul Gandhi.
You're not going to drag me into making comments about anybody from the Congress party. These are things which we will discuss, we will convey, and the parties, all parties. Why are you picking only one person?
I'll take another. Let me take another, happily. Let's come to Sharad Pawar. His behavior is particularly inexplicable. Just a few weeks ago, Narendra Modi publicly accused the NCP of 70,000 crore corruption. Then the BJP proceeded to split the NCP. They've lured his own nephew. And yet, what does he do in Pune? He's hugging and backslapping Narendra Modi. They're behaving as if the best of buddies. It won't be long before he actually walks out of your alliance kissing you goodbye.
Mr. Thapar, you put on this cynical hat of yours. I think it's fair enough because it's your job to ask me these questions. But let me tell you, we've completed 2 summits. You are way off the mark. You have no idea.
Happened
Just
after
let
the
me
second
finish.
summit.
Let me finish. You have absolutely no idea, I'll say this with all respect, as to where we are headed. What are the discussions happening? What are the plans being made? What is the
Mr. O'Brien, it's not where you're headed that I'm questioning. I'm questioning whether all of you will get that together. At the
We are
moment,
not-
you're following different directions
we are
and
not.
leading off in
We are
different
not.
directions.
We are not the BJP. We are not the BJP.
The BJP is united. India is not. Look,
Absolute nonsense.
Hang
Let
on.
me tell you,
Let me
Mr.
then
Thapar,
quote Samna.
the BJP decides, 2 people decide on the BJP.
we're not talking about BJP.
No,
we're
I
talking
need to talk
India.
about
We
BJP.
don't need to talk about BJP. We're
Because
talking about
BJP,
India.
Mr. Modi
we are
and
not
Mr. Shah
deflecting.
decide.
We are not deflecting. We're talking about India. Let me quote Samna. This is what they said about Sharad Pawar in an editorial. This Samna,
Yes.
it's the Shiv Sena paper. This was a good opportunity for Pawar to clear the doubts among the people. Far from clearing the doubts, he's added to the doubts and he's added to the concerns.
Mr. Thapar, I think every one of these parties is not a photocopy of each other. We are different political parties. There are different levels of these political parties. You can pick up, if you're going to be cherry picking.
I'm not cherry picking.
Yes, you are cherry picking.
I've given you 2 examples.
You're
not 3.
looking for ways to pinprick a great. Let me finish. Give me 1 minute without interrupting. You're
I'm
becoming
not
like
interrupting.
somebody.
I'm smiling.
Mr.
I'm
Thapar,
smiling
you're
at your
interrupting me.
desperate
I'm
attempt to
Mr.
suggest
Thapar.
I'm looking for ways.
Let me
I
say
don't have
this.
to look. The papers
Wait.
give them to me every morning.
Let me say this in a light-hearted way. I'm actually getting used to being interrupted every 20 seconds because I'm a member of the Rajya Sabha. Now you work it out what I've told you. Every 15 seconds you try and say something in Rajya Sabha, you get interrupted.
Come back to the subject, Mr.
I'm coming
O'Brien.
back. I'm coming back to the subject. There is so much happening positive in the India alliance. Please understand, this has been formed a few weeks ago, I dare say a few months ago. These are different political parties. These are not one homogeneous majoritarianism way. There are 1, 2, 3 issues. You can be rest assured. Please dwell on the 98% of the positives.
Let me give you a third example. Yesterday, just 24 hours ago, Dinesh Gundu Rao, the health minister of the Congress government in Karnataka, came to Delhi and was taken by Saurabh Bhardwaj to see a Mohalla clinic. And his first response was to say it was good, it was working well. He then got ticked off by his party and tweeted to say it was in fact bad. Now, in response, the Aam Aadmi Party is criticizing Mohalla clinics in Karnataka as being unhygienic. Even on something as small as praising each other, you fall apart and start squabbling.
Mr. Thapar, the example you've given me, I didn't even know. This is the first time
Because
I'm hearing
you haven't
about
read
it.
the papers this
No,
morning.
It's completely irrelevant.
It's not. It's actually the very relevant
Are you
one.
trying to say, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. You please give me the answer. Are you trying to say that 25 parties from the India alliance every morning have to speak with one press conference at 9 o'clock.
That's
Why?
not what I'm saying at
that's
all.
what you're
What I'm
suggesting.
saying is something even simpler. If you cannot praise each other without your own party telling you to shut up, and if you then end up criticizing each other, then it clearly shows
It's
that far
90
from
it's
unity,
90
you're suffering from elements of discord.
You're wanting us to become the majoritarianism, one voice BJP. We are not that.
I'm not
We are
wanting you.
we are democratic.
No, Mr. Brian, I am not talking about majoritarianism. I'm not talking about one voice. I'm saying don't squabble and quibble with each other in public. Don't hug Modi in public, right? Don't allow Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary to criticize Mamta personally. Don't complain if a congressman praises an Aam Aadmi Party clinic. That shows that the differences are probably as great as your attempt to smoothen them over.
Yeah. So the score now is 98-2. We have to get it 100-0. I'm being very candid with you. After 2 weeks, after 2 months, if you think that 25 political parties are going to express themselves in one single voice, no.
Okay.
There are going to be these, and these are real. Listen, why don't we accept these as the realities?
Let me put another.
The idea is to overcome, just let me finish. The idea is to overcome these, be gracious, move along with a clear agenda, and that is happening. After Mumbai, it will happen. Our coordination committee will be formed. There too will be a situation where everybody will move forward with a clear strategy.
Okay.
You're talking to me.
I hear what you're saying. Be gracious, ignore the discordant voices, concentrate on the unity, and forgive the Adhir Ranjan Chaudharys when they carry on saying silly things. That I understand. Let me put another problem to you. It's not that you're falling apart. The second problem is that you're failing to attract people who you should. A classic example is Naveen Patnaik and the Biju Janata Dal. In 2009, he broke with the BJP. In an interview to me at that time, he said, and I'm quoting his precise words, "Every bone in my body is secular." And yet, on every issue that matters, he ends up supporting the BJP. How disappointed are you?
Not at all.
No, let me finish. How disappointed are you that Naveen Patnaik, a friend of Jackie Kennedy and Mick Jagger, and you can't be more secular than that, ends up supporting the Hindutva BJP, not the Secular India Alliance?
Excellent.
He's a man you should have on your side. You don't.
Excellent. I'm glad you've asked me this question. Give me 90 seconds to speak about Mr. Naveen Patnaik. You've asked the questions to me. You should ask him the question. Don't listen to us. Don't listen to Mamta Banerjee. Don't listen to Rahul Gandhi. Don't listen to Nitish Kumar. On this Delhi bill which is coming, which is in the Rajya Sabha on Monday, he should take the advice of what his father said on federalism, Mr. Biju Patnaik,
But the point-
be with us.
The point I'm making is, why are you failing to attract people?
We are not
like them?
failing. It's Mr. Patnaik's failure. Why are you
Forgive
telling
me.
us it's my failure?
48 hours after Nitish Kumar flew to Bhubaneswar to talk to him,
Yes.
Naveen Patnaik flew to Delhi to talk to Modi.
That's Naveen Patnaik's.
The more you reach out to him, the more he embraces Modi.
Mr.
This is
Naveen
another
Patnaik.
failing.
Mr. Naveen Patnaik is a selfish politician who wants to be the chief minister of Odisha till he dies. Good for him. I wish him a long life. Mr. Naveen Patnaik is not interested in protecting federalism. Mr. Naveen Patnaik is not interested in protecting the Constitution of India. All Mr. Naveen Patnaik wants is to be the chief minister of Odisha till his last breath. I wish him a long life.
Your anger when you said that
I
shows
am not
that you
anger.
are
I am
deeply
sad.
upset you have not been able to bring him to
We
your
have
side.
never tried.
Oh, what did Nitish Kumar do when he went to Bhubaneswar?
He is gracious. He went to try, Baba.
So then you did try. Make up your mind.
Mr. Karan Thapar, I don't want to say anything more about Mr. Naveen Patnaik because Mr. Naveen Patnaik is part of the NDA. If you want to have a separate debate with me, 1 minute. If you want to have a separate debate with me about which state in India has been the harshest on the Christian community, call Mr. Naveen Patnaik here. I will debate with him.
I've certainly touched
Fake
a raw
secularism.
nerve.
Fake secularism.
I have touched a raw nerve when I brought up Naveen Patnaik,
Yes.
and I suspect it's because you know and I know that he's the sort of person you should have on your side,
We
and
don't-
you don't, and that's
We,
one of the
we do
failings
not
of the
want,
India Alliance.
listen, Mr. Thapar, let me tell you, it's not
What-
about whether
what
you
about
had dinner
TDP?
with, please, it's not about whether you have red wine. No, let me finish. It's not about whether you have red wine or whether you had dinner with Jackie Kennedy or whether you listen to a Mick Jagger concert. It's not about that. It's the reality. 1 minute.
Hang on a second. No, we will not get deflected by Naveen Patnaik.
No.
Your anger on him suggests that you are clearly suffering from a problem vis-a-vis Naveen. Leave him aside. Come to TDP.
I want to talk about Mr. Naveen Patnaik.
We are not talking about Naveen Patnaik. We've talked about him enough.
Why?
TDP broke with the BJP. They want to go back to the BJP. Why can't you attract them?
Listen,
hang on a second. Why can't you attract TDP?
We are not here to, you know, we are not some kind of a thing, you honeybee, you attract. You have to understand federalism. India, that is Bharat, is a council of states. What are we fighting for on this Delhi bill? It's not a Delhi bill. Do you believe, 1 minute, do you believe that the states should, that the states has defined by the Constitution of India should move in a certain way?
We are not talking about the Delhi bill. We are talking about India. And I'm pointing out to you that you are failing to attract the sort of people you should have on your side. Naveen was one. A second is Chandrasekhar, TDP. Why aren't they with you?
You mean Chandrababu Naidu?
And I mean Chandrasekhar as well, KCR. Why aren't they with you?
You
Telangana.
mean Telangana?
I mean both.
You can be rest assured. You can be rest assured.
I can understand Jagan Mohan Reddy. He has cases. He needs the BJP's protection. What about the other two?
I will tell you. If you just give me a little bit of breathing to explain each of them. Mr. Naveen Patnaik, look at his track record.
We've talked about Naveen Patnaik. We're not going to go on and on about
Mr. Naveen Patnaik's track record in Parliament is there for everybody to see.
And I was the one who pointed that out. Let's move on.
Number one. Number two, you've talked about BRS. Let me tell you, I speak to BRS as a representative of one of the representatives, twice to 3 times a day. The practicality is the BRS are fighting the Congress in Telangana coming up in November. You can be rest assured that if there's a phrase called India Plus, that BRS is part of the plus. Don't worry about it. We don't have to talk about it now.
Sounds a bit like OPEC Plus.
You can call it whatever
you want. That's how Russia was joined to OPEC. You're joining BRS the same way to India.
That is your
What about TDP?
TDP is best known to TDP.
But TDP broke with the BJP before the last election. Why can't you win them to your side?
That you'll have to ask the TDP. You'd given me the reason for Mr. YSR not coming because the cases that you'll ask who hasn't come here. You will have to ask them why they haven't come.
It's not a question of asking them why they haven't come. It's a question of asking you why can't you attract them. These are people you need. They should be on your side.
Yes.
They are not. That is one of the lapses and failings of India.
No, absolutely not. These are words you're using, Mr. Thapar. You're using it deliberately to provoke me. Lapses, failings. Where are we?
You're easily provoked on Naveen Patnaik.
Because we have a very clear view. Let's talk about Kandamahal. You can have a full.
We're not talking about Kandamahal. We're talking about your failure to.
No, you're using words like secular for him. What's secular?
Nitish Kumar flew to Bhubaneswar to meet him and failed to get him.
Full points, no.
This
Mr.
is what I'm
Nitish
saying
Kumar.
is a lapse on your
Full
part.
points, no. Okay. Full points. You saw the graciousness of Mr. Nitish Kumar.
Let's move.
You've seen the graciousness of Trinamool Congress. When there are 1 or 2 people who are attacking Trinamool says, okay, let's for the bigger cause stay. When Congress is asked to speak first.
Hang on. So for the bigger cause, you will continue to ignore Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary's continual barbs and criticisms.
That is the words of Mr. Karan Thapar, not my words.
Well, that's what you said. You talked about your graciousness.
You have to trust your partners. You'll have to trust your partners to take appropriate action or whatever they feel. Okay. That's how you build a relationship.
All right. Let's assume that the problems you're facing at the moment are overcome. Let's come to the second big subject I want to raise with you.
Yes.
How effectively can India challenge Narendra Modi and the BJP in 2024? If you're going to have any hope of defeating him, you need to ensure that you put up a 1-to-1 fight in the preponderant majority of constituencies.
Sure.
Can you do it at least in 400 out of 543?
Yes, fair question. That's the goal. And at every one of these meetings, we're taking one small step ahead. So there is a way to do it. Eventually, when the seats sharing is done, that will become bilateral. Or those parties, but let me give you the overall concept here. The overall concept where there is an absolute broad agreement is that there are already some which are already done. Let me give you two quick examples.
Which are the ones that are done?
Yeah. Bihar.
Well, yes, because you have an alliance there.
So I'm just telling you, this is, let me give you one example where it's already done. In Maharashtra, there are 3 parties. In Tamil Nadu, it's done. These are the 3 or 4 which is done. In other places, there is a policy which is being followed. What is that policy? The strongest party in that state will get the final call. For example, let me give you some real examples.
Now, let me give you an example, then you answer it. And let's take your own home state, Bengal. The strongest party by far is the Trinamool Congress. CPM and Congress were decimated in the state election and in the national election before that. So when it comes to seat allocation in Bengal, should CPM and Congress opt out of fighting altogether? Or would you, the strongest party, be prepared for the sake of unity and harmony to give them a few seats? But remember, you will be giving them those seats at the cost of what you could win. They may not win them.
So, please, again, you're drawing me into a discussion about a state where I'm trying to tell you about the principle.
It's the state you know best.
It's the principle.
Well, explain the principle
so
with
here's the
relation to
principle.
Bengal.
The principle in Bengal, yes, based on the principle that the strongest party in the state will take the final call. It's the Trinamool Congress, Mamata Banerjee's Trinamool Congress, with our General Secretary Abhishek Banerjee, who will take the call as to what are those 42 seats happening in Bengal.
So in other words, you may be prepared to give a few to Congress and CPM, even though their capacity to win them will be close to zero, given their track record of losing at the state and national levels earlier.
I'm talking about an overall policy. I'm not talking about...
But that policy only makes sense if you apply it with specific details.
The seat sharing of the Trinamool, the West Bengal, Trinamool you've identified as the strongest party there. In Rajasthan, it's the Congress.
No, let's stick to Bengal for a while. We'll come to Rajasthan later. In Bengal, will you be prepared for the sake of harmony and unity to give a few seats to Congress and CPM?
That's a call which will happen at 2 levels. The first part of it is done, that the strongest party in that state...
Yeah, we know that. What's the second level?
The second level is that the All India Trinamool Congress will have to take this call.
And I'm asking you, will All India...
All India Trinamool Congress doesn't take calls.
I'm asking you whether All India Trinamool Congress will insist on fighting all the seats, which we know you could win better than them, or will you, for the sake of unity, give them a few, but run the risk of losing?
All India Trinamool Congress, Rajya Sabha leader, spokesperson cannot come and sit here 2 months in advance, 2 months before this call is taken and discuss on television studios, A will get B seat, C will get so seat. That's not how we work.
Okay, let's move out of Bengal. Let's talk about UP. It's the biggest state. It's got 80 seats. In 2019, Congress won just 1. And everyone will tell you that the chance of them winning more is close to 0 in 2024. Should Congress therefore give way to Samajwadi Party, which is stronger? And if the answer is yes, it means Rahul Gandhi has no chance of ever winning Amethi again.
Again, you're going ahead. Yes, the first part of the question is, in UP, the strongest party. And let's be very frank. Doing well in 2024, you have to improve the position in UP. The positive part of our thinking is that where can the BJP gain seats from what they've won in 2019? Our thinking
Can I answer that for you? The more Congress candidates are pitted against the BJP in UP, the more BJP is likely to win those seats. This is the problem you face, and it applies to Bengal as much as it applies to UP. No. The seats you give in Bengal to CPM and Congress are likely to be lost if you go by that track record at the national state level.
Why are you making all these assumptions? I mean, I'm quite imagine what you've just said, Mr. Thapar. You're such a senior pro, and you say the seats you've given to the Congress and the CPM in Bengal. Where are you coming with all these assumptions from? You're not even there.
Hang on a second. I'll tell you the assumption is very simple. Congress and CPM didn't win a single seat at the state level in 2021. And at the national level, Congress won 2 seats in the Lok Sabha, CPM none. Therefore, that track record shows that if they're given seats to fight in Bengal, they won't win them. On the other hand, let me finish. If you don't give them any seats in Bengal, you will upset them. You can fracture the alliance over that. So what the choice is, you give them some seats which they lose, and that reduces your number. Or if you don't give them seats, they quarrel and you break the alliance. It's a Hobson's choice you face.
This is all your as a senior journalist, you can make all this analysis you want. But I'm not sitting here in your television studio to say who's getting A seat, who's getting B seat.
No, I'm not asking who's getting A. I'm saying, how do you solve this problem?
We have a Trinamool Congress working committee. We have a chairperson who's a 7-time MP, a 5-time minister, a 3-time chief
And
minister.
she will decide.
Yes, she will decide.
And Congress is happy that she should decide for big oil. And
That
CPM
you
is
ask the
happy.
Congress.
No, this is the problem. The second you ask the Congress, they'll say no.
Then you ask the Congress. I can only tell you about Trinamool Congress.
Yes, and the problem is that Congress will say that Mamta can't decide, we'll all decide together.
There's
and yet you're insisting Mamta will.
Mr. Thapar, come back to Patna.
No, let's not go back to Patna.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why you need to go back to Patna. Because at the Patna meeting and the Bengaluru meeting, one thing was decided. That the party, the strongest party in a state would take a call. Second thing was decided. After we have the coordination committee, we will roll out 4 other committees. There will be a secretariat in Delhi. There will be a 360-degree communication, and there will be seat sharing talks will happen later, not now. You have to go through. There's an architecture in place. There's a structure in place. No. This is not some T20 match.
The architecture at the moment is just ideas and thoughts. When you dig a little deeper and you face the complexity of the situation, you discover that the architecture is inadequate. Let me give you another example. Take the Aam Aadmi Party and Congress, perhaps the trickiest relationship between two parties who are both members of the India Alliance. The Aam Aadmi decimated Congress in Punjab and in Delhi. If Congress were to say, we won't contest those seats, we leave them to you because you are more likely to win them, in return they will expect Aam Aadmi not to contest in Gujarat, not to contest in Himachal, not to contest in Goa, and that might be a problem for Aam Aadmi. So once again, you have a genuine problem. Assured,
I have been an observer at both the summits and the last 2 weeks in Parliament. Aam Aadmi Party, Congress, they've come to the stage where you could not even think about it. Forget 6 months ago, 3 months ago. We are working as a team. Please understand this. There is a lot. The Aam Aadmi Party member of Parliament is on dharna outside. Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, Mr. Kharge are walking up to him and showing solidarity. Please, Mr. Thapar, there is a lot of progress been made.
Okay.
And I think the bigger picture here is that the hate factory of Mr. Modi and Shah has to go.
So tell me
let me just make, we will do all it takes. Is it easy? Of course it is not easy.
Tell me this.
Have we made a start?
Of the 5...
Of course we've made a start.
Hang on.
Are we perfect?
No.
We are not perfect.
Of the 543 seats that have to be contested at the Lok Sabha, how many do you think you can contest 1-to-1 vis-a-vis BJP?
Impossible to answer that, but I can tell you the target to answer that will have to be 543. So you're going to fall short maybe of 543.
Can you even hit 400?
No, I don't. See, again, this is not some, pack of cards, you'll hit throw a jack, throw a queen. There is an effort towards that. And we have to understand that this is an effort being made. And a very important part, to make this effort, to take it forward, all parties have to do something. They have to
all parties have to be prepared to concede to the other.
Yes, and there has to be. Because when you win a seat, eventually, it is a seat which you win for the India Alliance. And when we've all got into these discussions, somebody said it very nicely, you have to take out the memory chip from all the parties. So there's nothing about the past.
That's easy to say, difficult to do.
Yes, of course it's difficult.
Okay.
When you're up against a political party who do not believe in parliament, when you're up against a political party who believe that there's nothing called federalism in this country, when you're up against a political party who for 90 days what has happened in Manipur, and to get the Prime Minister to speak, you have to bring a no confidence motion.
And therefore,
you're up against this.
Okay, I for now will accept what you're saying, which is in effect, so horrible is the Modi BJP government that you will unite, you will take that memory chip out, you will bury your discord, and you will agree to compromise to help each other and fight unitedly.
I think compromise is not a nice word.
Compromise is a very good word. You just don't like the sound of it.
It's not a compromise.
Accommodate each other.
Where you will resolve to unitedly work to defeat Modi and Mr. Modi's government, which is against the constitution of
Let's
India.
move
That's
on.
the uniting point.
Let's move to the second challenge you face if you're going to effectively fight against Modi and the BJP in the 2024 elections. They have a clear leader, and he's probably the most popular man in the country. You can't find anyone because you can't agree on anyone. And yet, you know this better than me, Indian parliamentary elections are becoming presidential. Doesn't that give you a huge handicap from the outcome?
I think not.
Why?
I think not. Because it cuts both ways. Firstly, the ultimate decider here will not even be the political parties. It's the people of India who have to make up their minds, and we do believe it's the people of India who have made up their minds, because you please remember.
How do you know that? How do you know that?
Because I've got data.
You mean the people of India have already decided they don't want Modi in 2024?
Absolutely. Two-thirds of the voters will not vote for Mr. Modi.
Now, hang on a second. That's simply on the basis of the fact that Modi's vote share in 2019
Listen,
was
I'll tell you
38.
something.
It doesn't mean they're going to vote for any alternative either.
We haven't even started.
And remember, it's a first past the post election.
We haven't even started.
So you don't think it matters?
Listen to what will happen in November. Listen to what will happen in November.
What will happen?
There are 4 elections. There's a 5th election in the Northeast, but let's take the 4 large states. The BJP will come a distant third. I'm not an astrologer, but I'm a very keen cephalogist as a student of cephalogy.
The BJP will come a distant
third in Telangana. They won't be close.
What about Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan?
Let me finish with Telangana. They will be a distant third. Okay. Next, you come to Chhattisgarh. They will be a distant second. Third, the favorites to win Madhya Pradesh are not the BJP. Congress will win Madhya Pradesh.
And Rajasthan?
Rajasthan, again as a student of cephalogy, it's a close race, but advantage Congress.
Now let me reply to that. Sorry. Congress won Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan in 2018. And in all those 3 states, the vast majority of Lok Sabha seats were won by the BJP. They swept Rajasthan.
Right.
They almost swept Madhya Pradesh.
Correct.
They won the majority in Chhattisgarh. That could happen again.
Of course it could happen.
And it happened because of Modi's popularity. And that's why I'm asking the question. You have no one to pit against Modi in an increasingly presidential style election. Why don't you answer that?
We are answering this question. The 2024 elections will be an aggregate of state elections. We have somebody to pit against Modi in Telangana. The 2024 Telangana Lok Sabha election, Mr. KCR is the face in Telangana against Mr. Modi. In Bengal, the face is Ms. Mamata Banerjee. We feel...
And Modi won 18 out of 42 seats in 2019, didn't he?
Now you're telling me, I don't know whether you're a betting man. Maybe since you're talking about red wine and all this...
No, hang on, I'm not about red wine. Are you really seriously saying to me that Modi versus vacuum and vacuum can win?
This is not vacuum. It's an insult to talk about Ms. Mamata Banerjee vacuum or Mr. Ashok
None
Gehlot
of
as
them
vacuum.
are considered national level leaders. They are superb in their states. But
please understand, 2 things are very clear. Since you compared the assembly elections, 2 things do happen. When Modi, and let's be practical, when Modi is on the ticket, the BJP does better than the BJP. Concede, yes.
And Modi will be on the ticket in a big way in 2024.
Modi is on the ticket in 2024.
It's a national election.
I'm telling you, he's on the ticket in 2024. But Modi is not so Teflon coated. Modi is beatable. Once there is a
You haven't beaten him as yet.
Modi is...
In fact, you haven't beaten him ever.
Incorrect.
You haven't.
Incorrect. I'll give you 2 examples if
He
you allow
won
me
3
to.
straight elections.
If you allow me to give you 2 examples, I'll give it to you. But you have to allow me 1 minute time to explain how he is beaten.
As long as they're to the point and about the subject.
100% to the point.
Then get on with it.
100%
Get on with it.
In 2021, no one from BJP campaigned in Bengal. 1 person campaigned. He spent 4 hours in parliament. He spent 4 hours a day in Bengal. He spent 4 hours in the whole year in 2021 in parliament. Who campaigned? Modi. What happened in the assembly election? Disaster. Karnataka, he was the principal campaigner. Now you'll tell me.
I'll tell you what. There's a
He wasn't
big,
on the ticket.
No, that's not the question of being on the ticket. There's a big distinction the Indian electorate increasingly makes between who they want at the state level and who they want at the national level. At the state level, Mamta shatters Modi's ambitions
I have
and
a
prospects.
point.
At the national level,
Yes.
he does so much better. And
Mr.
that's what I'm
Thapar.
saying. In a parliamentary election
Arey,
where
Mr.
Modi
Thapar.
is the face of the other side, the fact
There is
that
a
you
big
don't have
difference.
one is a huge handicap.
There's a big difference between 2019 and 2024. The one difference.
Which is?
One difference.
Which is?
The resolve of the India alliance to put up a receptacle where all the anti-Modi votes go into that one bowl.
Okay.
That will be the difference.
Then
We're
let me-
talking about numbers now. One thing has already happened. Let me give you my theory. One thing has already happened. There were 300, already happened few months ago. 270 gone. No chance. Listen to this. What is the first,
270 gone where?
your first target? BJP would get to 272 now. They're nowhere next to 272. They're way below 272 now.
How do you know that?
I'll tell you why I know that.
Very quickly.
Yes. Don't rush
Because,
me, no.
because
I'm
we're going
enjoying
into,
my conversation.
Because we're going
One-
into fanciful daydreams.
No, I'm giving you not. I'm giving you
I'm
data.
indulging you.
I'm giving you facts. Where was the NDA all this while? It was Modi versus. Why suddenly 36 parties? Why did the NDA get revived? First sign, defensive.
Okay.
What happened?
Cling on to that hope.
No,
if you
no,
want.
no, I'm not clinging
You
on.
said.
Where's the
no,
NDA?
hang on. You said the secret of your success, which will overcome the fact that you don't have an equivalent of Modi to lead you, is your resolve.
I think that's not a negative. It's a positive for us that
Let
we
me
don't have
tell
one
you
face.
why that resolve is about to get punctured, and
Tell
the
me,
bad
tell me,
news
sir.
came from the Supreme Court yesterday. When it struck down, or stayed rather, Rahul Gandhi's sentence, it made it open for him to contest the 2024 elections. And if he does, Congress will undoubtedly promote him as their prime ministerial candidate. Or are you confident that the assurance given by Kharge in Bangalore that Congress is not interested in the prime ministerial post will hold? Now that Rahul is available, how confident are you Congress won't change its mind?
Not only the Congress, let me tell you on record, everybody in that room, in Patna and in Bangalore, said the same thing.
Which is?
Including my leader,
Which
Mamata
is?
Banerjee. Posts, they are not interested. The post is not of interest. Not to Rahul Gandhi, not to Mamata Banerjee. They've said this there. Why are you making this?
I'll tell you why. Because in this morning's Hindu on the front page, Ashok Gehlot, the Chief Minister of Rajasthan, has gone on record to say Rahul will be Congress's prime ministerial candidate.
What is
He's
wrong?
gone on record.
What is wrong?
If he is the
Arey
Congress's
Baba, what
prime
is wrong in
minister-
Delhi? What is wrong tomorrow in Delhi and saying Mamata?
Because it punctures the assurance
Please,
given by Kharge
this is-
that we're not interested in the post.
Mr.
Gehlot
Kharge,
is saying something else.
Mr. Thapar, Mr. Kharge and Mr. Rahul Gandhi both have spoken in Patna, in Bengaluru.
Before
the bigger issue. This is
before
not
the
about.
sentence was stayed.
This is
the
not-
world has changed yesterday.
I cannot be I'm not the spokesperson of the Congress
And I'm not
party.
saying you are, and I don't for a moment think you are either.
I have no doubt. I
But
have
you're
no
an
doubt.
intelligent member of the alliance, and I'm pointing
I
out to
have
you
no-
that
I-
your
I am-
resolve
I
is
am-
about to fracture.
Nothing. You're using these words, not even a bruise. Okay, maybe a nick at times.
Hang on a second.
Since you're saying fracture.
Why don't you do one thing? In the light of what Gehlot has said to the Hindu, and it's on the front page of the paper, why not get Kharge to repeat what he said in Bangalore? Congress is not interested in the prime ministerial post. Why doesn't he say that?
Where are we headed?
Nowhere at the moment. That's the problem.
No. Somebody says this. Now you're advising me what I should tell the Congress president. This is not the way politics is
I'm
done.
only advising you to get the Congress president to quash a
Don't
story
worry,
that is
Mr.
gaining
Thapar,
momentum with
Mr.
every
Thapar,
passing
Mr.
hour.
Thapar, you be rest assured. You be rest assured. We have some tough questions to ask to Modi and Shah. We are absolutely everything, all is well in the family. In the Team India, all is well. You know
Can
something?
I put this to you?
Can I give you a fact?
No.
Can I give you a fact?
No more
1 hour
daydreams.
after.
No more daydreams. Let's stick
No,
to
not
the
a
story.
daydream. 1 hour after that Supreme Court was announced, please see Ms. Mamata Banerjee's tweet.
Yes, I did. She was congratulating Rahul and saying she was very happy that he's back as an MP. I saw it.
No. You forgot the second part.
Which is?
Which is very important.
Go on.
This will strengthen our resolve to unitedly fight in the India alliance to defeat the BJP in 2024.
And minutes later, Ashok Gehlot tells the Hindu that Rahul Gandhi is our prime ministerial candidate,
Karan,
thus
Thapar,
throwing into the dustbin the assurance you got from Kharge that they don't want the job.
It's not at all. We are 20 different political parties. We are not talking dolls of the BJP. Whatever Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah says, they don't question.
Can I tell you
no,
something?
These are different political parties.
Just a moment.
You want us to be one white cloth? Oh, we're not there. We're not the RSS. We're not.
Mr. O'Brien, can I put this to you? If Rahul Gandhi were in any way to be presented to the country as the prime ministerial candidate of the India election, you will lose hands down vis-a-vis Modi. That is why what Ashok Gehlot is saying is so dangerous. Because Ashok Gehlot has said it, it's on the front page of today's Hindu. And that's the challenge you have to face up to.
Are we talking about individuals?
No, we're talking about the alliance.
When I last checked, all these meetings were attended by the chairperson, the president, and the senior most leadership of the party.
That was before his sentence was stayed. He couldn't contest an election when Kharge gave the assurance. He can now contest the election, which is why Gehlot is saying Rahul is our candidate.
This is all ambient. This is all ambient sound. This is all ambient noise. This is all ambient noise.
Ashok Gehlot is ambient noise?
He's speaking for his political party. I haven't even read the paper.
Wait, you should. Okay. I advise you to read papers.
Why don't you understand? Why can't workers or leaders from individual political parties have their own aspirations for their leaders?
Why.
What is wrong with that?
Let me explain.
What is the problem?
Let me explain.
Hang on.
After Kharge in Bangalore went public and got enormous kudos for saying Congress is not interested in the prime ministerial position, for Ashok Gehlot, who's junior to him, to actually change his position and say, now Rahul is our candidate because Rahul can now stand, actually fractures the assurance you were given. It raises doubts about your alliance and it creates confusion, which will ensure that instead of unity, we have increasing discord.
No,
it adds to the problem of Pawar against Modi. It adds to the problem of Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary criticizing Mamta. Now you have another one.
No. Mr. Pawar, I'll try and summarize this to you in one sentence. If you walk into Parliament, Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, the NDA, they stand up and they shout one word in unison, full chorus. And on this side, all of us shout another word as a slogan. That's the difference. The choice for 2024. The BJP MP stand up and shout, Modi, Modi. The India Alliance MP stand up and shout, India, India. That's the difference.
And when they're outside Parliament, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary shouts at Mamta and Pawar hugs Modi and the Congress in Karnataka criticizes the Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi over their mohallas. So listen, you can cut this either way. You sound like a Tower of Babel outside Parliament.
No, we are absolutely fine. Please do not break us into those robots all dressed in white. We will all go and say the same thing. No, by the way, let me tell you. By the way, let me be frank and tell you. There's nothing shy. Can you imagine 26 political parties sitting around a table and coming up with a name for an alliance? You think the only one name was India? There were 3, 4, 5 other names.
We moved away from that. We have moved away from that. Let's carry on talking about the central subject.
I'm talking to you about a central subject.
How effectively can you challenge Modi in 2024? We've talked about two critical challenges. One is the challenge of putting up a one-to-one fight as frequently as you can. Second is this question of leadership. The third is, what do you stand for? What's the message you're giving the Indian people? Modi is very clear.
What is that?
He offers Hindutva, he offers nationalism, he offers welfareism. What is India offering the Indian people?
First, the Constitution and whatever we stand for in that Constitution.
Second?
Now you say, oh, that's...
No, I'm not. I'm saying second.
Second, delivery on promises. What has Modi promised and what has he delivered?
No, what are you offering?
We are offering them all what we have promised in past governments and delivered. You take the Bengal model, you take what Karnataka model, you take a whole lot of states which the promise and delivery.
And
That
the
is the key.
third thing?
The third thing is, please understand, promise and delivery is very, very
I've
important.
understood. Third?
Third is eat what you want, dress in whichever way you want, respect the unity, the diversity in our unity, which we've grown up with.
Fourth,
This is not. So there's a whole. These are the very basics. These are the very basics. Tomorrow, if you eat something, somebody else marries somebody. Baba, this is not so. This is not the.
And let me ask you: do you believe that these concepts, which are often difficult to articulate because they're abstract, because they're almost philosophical at times, will be easy to communicate to the Indian people?
No, we also have to tell the Indian people about the 80% price rise in the tomato and the 35% price rise in milk. These are all the realities.
So you believe you have
you talked about the dollar going to some 100 now. These are all the realities.
So you believe you have a winning message that can unite the Indian people behind you?
Of course, it is not us who have the winning message. The message is there. Through India, we have to communicate this message. And I'll tell you the difference between 19 and 24. In 2014, when he got elected, people thought, okay, somebody new, give him a chance. In 2019, he hasn't yet delivered. He will deliver. They gave him another 5 years.
In other words, they're tired of waiting.
Yes, 2024, double farmer income. You haven't doubled it in Bengal, they've tripled it. Then you've talked about bullet trains. You've talked, where is your smart cities? When you get down to these...
You really think that these are issues on which ordinary people will unite?
Ordinary people will ask me why, next time when you have to give somebody a gift for Diwali, don't give him mithai and all, you give tomato only. That's also the expensive gift to give.
Let me tell you some of the challenges you will face. The first is...
No, I'll tell you one more thing. Sir, one more thing. Please let me finish, Mr. Thapar. I think there's another very important issue in all this. And that is the federal structure of the country. Today, if 4 dogs start barking in Bengal in one locality, they will send one delegation there. The strength that and that is why we as states, you can't be dictating. You can't go to Manipur and Meghalaya and say, you vote for us because we'll give you double engine.
Okay.
Double engine is unconstitutional.
Let's then come to the message you're going to deliver. You've talked about 4 or 5 things. Let's take up
broadly.
Absolutely. Let's take up some
I'm not on the committees haven't been formed for India. These are initial thoughts.
Let's take up some of them one by one.
Yes.
But the first thing I'm going to take up is this. A lot of what you will be saying to the Indian people is about Modi. It's targeted at Modi. Because actually, India is a fight not just against the BJP, it's against Modi specifically. You're not going to win that fight if you bait him. You're not going to win that fight if you're publicly rude about him, because that will run the risk of actually cementing his loyalty and his fans to him. And yet, this is what you said on the 1st of August. Mr. Prime Minister, who the hell do you think you are? Can you, Derek O'Brien, accept that was an unfortunate mistake?
What was the mistake?
Mr. Prime Minister, who the hell do you think you are? That was you in public saying it about Modi. On video.
Yeah. I'll say it again. And I'll tell you why. You have done everything to break down institutions. Soft, decent, direct language is not cutting ice. You have to use communication techniques which break the rules. I did that deliberately. I did it outside Parliament, and I did it because the sense of when a Prime Minister of India comes on the first day in 2014 and then genuflects and does a pranam on the steps of Parliament, and in 2023, I'll say something even more controversial than hell, what he's doing in 2022-23 in terms of the rules and procedures of Parliament, he's spitting on Parliament.
But let me point out something to
So
you.
this is the fact.
The mistake you're making, Derek O'Brien,
Yes.
is that you believe this language, who the hell do you think you are, will have an impact on Modi. The problem is it will have no impact on Modi whatsoever. What it will do is turn the Indian voter off you. Look,
Right.
First
Do
of all,
you think
let me
the
finish.
Indian
Let me
voter
finish.
approves? Didi,
Can I-
catcalling
can I-
a
can I-
woman
can I-
chief minister is
and
okay.
That's one
Arre,
reason.
sir.
That's one reason why, in fact, Mr. Modi has stopped saying Didi or Didi. He doesn't
So
do
he
it
stopped?
anymore. You are just beginning
Did you
where
see
he
what-
stopped. No,
one
let me
minute.
finish. Let me finish.
Did you see
let
the
me
gesture?
finish. Nowhere in the world do opposition politicians speak in this way of the Prime Minister, because it's not the individual, it's respect for the office. And in India, decorum, politeness, courtesy are highly respected. If you're going to take on Modi in this sort of abusive language, you will cement
Where is
his...
the abusive language?
Who the hell do you think you are? Do you know
Who
what
the-
it is? That's the Hindi English equivalent of, "Arey साले, तुम अपने आप को क्या
Ah,
समझते हो?"
bola, you are doing your own
That is
translation.
precisely the...
Did you see
it
what
is.
the Prime Minister did at the election rally in Rajasthan?
So do you want to fall to
No,
his
no, no.
level?
Did you see what he did? I can't. Can I repeat the gesture on your show?
Go ahead.
You'll have to edit it.
Go ahead.
You'll have to edit it.
I will not edit it. Go ahead.
You'll not edit it.
Go ahead.
This is the Prime Minister of India.
Go ahead.
This is what he did, huh? Prime Minister of India. That's okay. You're talking about who the hell.
It's
when
not
the,
okay.
When the Prime Minister of India does this, that's okay. And you're saying who the hell?
No. Listen to me. The point I'm making is, if your campaign...
This is what he did,
No,
huh?
hang on. He may have. I'm not
He
denying
may
it.
have. He did. I got video.
The point is, if you descend to his level with rudeness and crudeness, you will end up cementing his fans and his loyalty to
There
him.
is a
You will build up
there are
sympathy for him.
different
You will put
techniques.
people off you.
There are different techniques of communication. You said something very interesting. You've said something very, very interesting. And I agree with you that the Modi, hardcore Modi voter, they will vote for Modi. Whether tomatoes are 80 or now they're 200 rupees, they'll still vote for Modi. So that core Modi vote stays with Modi. There is a neutral today.
And they will be
when they're
attracted with
when
this
they're
language?
no, language can be temperate. Fair enough. Language can be temperate.
It's intemperate in this case.
Fair point.
You accept it.
No, listen.
If you accept it, let's carry on.
Mr. Thapar,
If you accept it, let's carry on.
Fair enough. Would I say this on Monday in Parliament? You listen to my speech on Monday in Parliament.
I will with pleasure.
Okay.
Let's come to the second point. Something you brought
didn't
up,
let me finish my
something
point.
that you brought up reminded me of what Suhash Palshikar.
This is how long is this interview? It's good. We are carrying on. I think 1 hour has gone also.
Nowhere near is it. Something you said about the message you're going to convey to the Indian people reminded me about what Suhash Palshikar, one of India's foremost political analysts, wrote recently. He said, the one measure that will strengthen and unite and increase the cohesiveness of India is if they were to project and protect and rejuvenate the enhancement of India's federalism. Every one of the regional parties would have a buy-in because they would gain from it. Will you be standing for federalism?
We are all very clear. And that is why this bill is also a very good example. And earlier in the program, I get aggressive about this because that's why all these fake-oo federal, who care two hoots about federalism, heading that list is Mr. Naveen Patnaik.
No, let's not go to Naveen Patnaik.
Why?
I'll tell you why I asked this question. Because regional parties like DMK, like Mamata Banerjee, like Akhilesh Yadav, right, all have a stake in increasing federalism. Congress may not have the same one. Congress looks at situations not from the point of view of the states where it's in power, but from the center where it wants to be in power. Yes. If you promote federalism and the enhancement of federalism, you could have problems with Congress. It'll strengthen the alliance, as Palshikar says, but it could annoy Congress.
No, let me give you some numbers. Leave the politics out. Numbers. 10 years ago, this serious numbers. 10 years ago, as you know, cess and surcharge is not shared with the state governments. So when the UPA and before that were in power, the cess and surcharge part of the collection was 10% of revenue. That has now become 20% of total revenue by the BJP. These are real numbers. This is anti-federal. I'll give you another one. The devolution to the states as by the Finance Commission, that is supposed to be 41% plus. That number is down to 30%. Bengal itself is owed 11,000 crores.
Remember the finance minister who used to actually tax through cess and surcharge? It was Chidambaram. He began it.
Mr. Chidambaram, cess and surcharge of the Congress never went beyond 10%. Let me finish. Today you're using the 11,000 crores of rupees which you owe to Bengal, 7,000 only on Manrega.
Okay.
We're coming here on October 2 with 3 lakh people for that.
Let me finish this argument. Congress will be on board in increasing the federal powers of the states vis-a-vis the centre. That's all I'm asking. Do you believe Congress is on board? Diminish the hold of the centre, increase the hold and the power and strength of the states.
200% on board. And there's a very big issue which we have not even said a sentence about. In all these years, 1 out of 3 young Indians are still unemployed. All Modi's event management, all they've produced is 12 lakh jobs in the last 10 years. These are the serious issues which have to be addressed. Only doing event management is not the answer.
But hang on a second. We know it has to be addressed. How are you going to address it? That's the key message the Indians want to hear.
I think what this, for example, on this federal
tell me, how will you address it?
Let me give you the best example.
No, don't give me an example. Tell me, how will you address unemployment?
Unemployment has to be addressed because if you look at Bengal, I'll give you my Bengal example. How we created close to 1 crore jobs. So there, each state will have their own outlook. For example, let me give you my state's example. We took a conscious decision in 2012 that we don't have large tracts of land, so we can't do these big factories. So we went the MSME route. And today, Bengal is number 1 in the country for MSME.
Are you saying that if you form a government at the centre, you will rely on the MSME route to create employment?
No, not at all.
What are you saying?
Not at all.
So what are you saying?
I'm not saying that. Again, I'm saying for Bengal,
but I'm not talking about Bengal. I'm talking about India if you come to power. You have to give a message.
We will certainly not indulge in the kind of crony capitalism which the BJP have been indulging in, where they set up a retail shop.
I deliberately did not question you about your economic policy because I know as of now you don't have one. You haven't even thought about it.
Bengal.
India does not have one. You haven't talked about it. You haven't articulated it. I didn't bring it up. You brought it up, so I questioned you further.
Please.
Let me come to the last.
We have some of the best minds. There's a big difference also with the India and the NDA. I'll tell you one more difference. The minds. The minds and the combination of the minds and the grassroots democracy leaders like Mamata Banerjee, and there's a diversity there. There's a diversity in that group.
And you think the Indian people will vote for intelligence over popularity?
Not
intelligence being Chidambaram, popularity being Modi.
Thapar, why are you twisting my words?
That's what you said.
No. I said there's the diversity in the group.
Let's come to the last big challenge you face. And that is the challenge of countering Hindutva. And remember, you're doing it a country which is 80% Hindu. You're doing it to a country who for the last 9 years have been told that their religion is in danger, that it's being marginalized. How will you counter Hindutva?
No, there's a difference between Hinduism, Hindutva. I'll tell you again. Let me talk about a subject which I'm very familiar with, which is my own state.
No,
where do you have this thing in your head? All Hindus vote for BJP.
I am not interested in Bengal. I'm asking you, how will you counter? No, Mr. O'Brien, listen to me. This is a serious question. It's a challenge that your alliance faces, and I expect you to answer it seriously. How will you counter the appeal of Hindutva, particularly in the Hindi heartland where it is the strongest? Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, UP, Himachal, Uttarakhand. How will you counter the appeal of Hindutva?
This is a challenge. But please do not jump to this very naive conclusion that all Hindus vote for BJP. Where are we with this?
No, I'm not jumping to that conclusion. I'm asking you a different question. Yes. I'd like you to concentrate on that. How will you counter the appeal of Hindutva in the Hindi heartland?
This is, please understand, we need to focus on issues which affect the common people of India. Please understand, eventually they want their kids to have jobs. They want to go to the shop and buy, you're giving me rice, which is free, but you want me to cook the rice on a gas cylinder, on a stove which costs 1,100 rupees for the gas. So you will
sidestep the issue of Hindutva and
talk about
economic issues.
So, we have to talk about real issues.
Hindutva matters to a lot of people. It's a fundamental part of Mr. Modi's appeal. How will you counter it?
A strategy for the India alliance takes into consideration all aspects of the challenge ahead. Mr. Thapar,
But then tell me, what's the answer to my question?
I will not jump the gun.
Okay.
Let me explain to you, let me finish, because you started off with India. Let me tell you how this will work. There is a coordination committee. There are 4-5 other committees. There is a cohesive plan being put into place, and I can assure you that after Mumbai, there will be 2 quick summits in 2 other cities. We will have a plan in place. By the time is also
And
of
will
essence.
that plan be how you counter Hindutva?
It will consider everything,
including how you
it
counter
will
Hindutva.
consider everything.
I'll
It
tell
will
you why
consider
I asked
everything.
this. I'll tell you why I asked this question. And I'll make it very blunt.
Yes.
When Muslims are targeted by cow vigilantes, accused of love jihad, called Babar ki aulad, taunted with Abba Jan, when their houses are demolished without due process, and it happened in Noor just 2 days ago, and when they're repeatedly told, go to Pakistan, will any one member
yes.
of India Alliance stand up and
Thank you.
protest? Or
Thank
will you
you.
be
Thank
scared
you, Mr.
because
Thapar.
you'll put off Hindus and you will lose their votes?
Mr. Thapar, thank you for asking this. Seriously, and I'll tell you why. Because I strongly believe in this. The time has come in India for all of us. We can't be grey. We have to be black or white. We have to call it out. We have to call it out.
I hear your
We
sincerity. I hear your sincerity.
We have to. Since
What
you
about
asked me,
the others?
We have to call it out. We've called it out. This is the way I've been 20 years only with one political party, with one leader. But it's very, very clear. There is no Hindu, there is no Muslim, there is no Christian. Why on earth would a Mamata Banerjee have Derek O'Brien, which is some 0.1% of the Christian of the war? No, we have to call it out. This is not a time to be grey. We have to be black or white.
I'll tell you.
If an atrocity has been committed, if the atrocity is committed by a Hindu, Muslim, Jain, Christian, anybody, you have to call it out. And the beautiful part in all this, I think there is a broad agreement, again, in the thinking of the India Alliance, that you cannot be grey anymore.
Well, hang on, that's what I want to question. This claim that there is a broad agreement in the thinking of the India Alliance that you cannot be grey anymore. In December 2021, when a Dharma Sansad in Hardwar publicly called for ethnic cleansing and the genocide of Muslims, only one party spokesman publicly criticized them, and I'll give you credit, it was yours. It was Mr. Gokhale. Everyone else, sadly including Congress, which stands for secularism and talks so much about it, had nothing to say.
Right, that is 2021.
That is just
What is your experience in the last 90 days where the Prime Minister has kept his mouth zipped on Manipur? What is the reaction been of the other political parties? The first person to write a letter asking the Home Minister to go there was Mamata Banerjee. Rahul Gandhi then led a delegation of MPs there. Then CPM, CPI went. Then Trinamool went. And then the INDIA parties.
Can I make a blunt point? Manipur is not Hindu-Muslim. How many times have members of your alliance gone to the homes of Muslims whose sons, brothers and husbands have been butchered by cow vigilantes? How many times have you gone to hold their hand, to help them, to extend comfort and support? Not once. And let me make it a bit more pointed. When the Hathras rape happened, and it was horrible, Priyanka Gandhi made an enormous effort to get there. We saw it all on television. She wasn't permitted. She didn't bother about Muhammad Akhlaq.
How did we go?
She didn't bother about Muhammad Akhlaq. That's the point I'm making.
No, the simple point I'm making is a strong belief of my party, the Trinamool Congress, its leader, Mamata Banerjee, who goes to midnight mass on Christmas Eve, who goes on Red Road, and who on Eid she goes on Red Road, and she inaugurates 300 pujas during Durga Puja. That's the Bengal we've grown up in.
So when the next cow vigilante attack on an innocent Muslim happens, and sadly he's killed, will leaders of your alliance go to that home? Will you sit with them and comfort them? Because you haven't done it up till now. Will you now start doing it? Will you start doing it?
I can speak to you with what we've done in my party for the last 19 years.
Which is?
we go, we don't, there's no question you can't, I mean, this is something which you can't, and that is why you can't question the Trinamool or Mamata Banerjee or Bengal on
I'm
this
not
issue.
questioning Trinamool per se, I'm questioning India.
I think
And
I
I'm
think
saying,
it's fair. I think it's within the India alliance. Within the India alliance, you have to try and make your belief, make more people believe in what you believe in. I think that's a challenge. And these are all challenges. And
Okay.
I think that's the positive part of this, Mr. Thapar. The India alliance has a lot of things going for it. Is it the perfect 10 on 10 launched on day one? No. As we grow along, and I think
Yeah.
as we go along, we will keep
let's
achieving.
let's
One thing we
I know-
managed to achieve, will you give us credit?
The one thing I want you to assure me is that when you talk of secularism, you will practice it and not be worried that if you show sympathy and concern for Muslims, it will lose you Hindu votes. That has held people back going to the homes of people who've been killed by cow vigilantes.
I have been in Trinamool Congress
It held
for
people
19
back
years.
criticizing Dharm
I have
Samsads
been in
calling for
Trinamool
genocide.
Congress for 19 years. I have for once never has been told by my chairperson or my working committee, no. We believe if somebody's had an atrocity and somebody's against him or her, you're with the people.
All right.
So where does this go? I
that-
want to send you one more thing before we go.
Very quickly.
To prove that this India alliance has had a great, if I may use the term, this is not even a launch, a soft beginning, a launch, is that what are the things which have happened? The first is that it's got under the skin of Modi and the BJP because they are reacting in crazy ways. 2, it's revived the NDA. And 3, and the most important point, is Modi is now not alone. Why you keep saying Modi is alone, Modi is alone? No! Modi needs his 35 alliance NDA. He needs his 35 parties now with him. So 35 parties versus 26. So it's us versus them. It's not I and Modi.
All right, Derek
this?
O'Brien.
Yeah.
You're my guest. You have the right to the last word.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Mr. Thapar.
Hi, I'm Karan Thapar. Over the last few years, I hope you've been watching my program, The Interview on the Wire. During that period, I've interviewed doctors, politicians, businessmen, scientists, authors, and even the occasional Nobel laureate. For me, it's been exciting. I hope it's been enjoyable for you. But these, as you know, are tough times, and if this program is going to remain bold, independent, and sometimes even defiant, then I think we need your support. At the end of the day, it's a truism, but editorial independence is best defended by the viewers. So if you would like this program to remain the way it is, forthright, outspoken, and interesting, then would you consider supporting us? All you have to do is to click on the description at the bottom. But more than anything else, I hope you will continue to watch The Interview. Your viewership means an awful lot to me.